KSI versus Dylan Dennis? KSI versus Dylan Dennis? I need to calm down, but like KSI versus Dylan Dennis. Dylan Dennis is a Twitter warrior. Why is he fighting again? Why are Misfits giving this guy another chance? The guy completely fumbled his chances in combat sports when he fought Logan Paul, and he absolutely just fumbled the fight. He actually did this the whole fight. He didn't throw any punches. He didn't throw any punches against Logan Paul for 8 rounds. 8 rounds? It was 6 rounds, but like still, it was an embarrassing showing by Dylan Dennis. Why is he fighting again? Why has he been given the opportunity to make money, more money? He doesn't deserve it. He's a joke. He's an absolute joke. Why are they giving him a platform? And KSI, you're a hypocrite because you made fun of Jake Paul for fighting MMA fights. You're fighting a guy who's never even competed in MMA, like UFC. He's never even been a striker. Tyron Woodley was at least a striker. Anderson Silva was a striker. Now, Nate Diaz wasn't a striker, but like, he had some striking highlights, a little bit. In MMA, in UFC. Mike Perry was definitely a striker. Ben Askren was a wrestler, okay, fair enough, but like, still. Jake Paul's fought strikers at least. You're fighting a jiu-jitsu specialist. Like, the only thing he's good at in combat sports is jiu-jitsu. Not even striking. He's never even, like, been good with his hands. Literally. He's never been good with his hands. He's been good with his takedown defense. Like, his takedown attempts and his, like, choking out people. But he's never been good at using his hands and, like, fighting people, like, throwing punches and, you know, hitting people. He's never been good at that. He's absolutely wank at that. That's why he's not in the UFC. That's why he's still nothing. Like, he's not even in Bellator anymore. Like, he had 2 Bellator fights, like 7 years ago, and he stopped like, he's never competed ever since those 2 fights he had in Bellator, like 6-7 years ago in 2019. The guy's not serious clearly about fighting, because if he was, he'd be actively fighting, like actively having fights, but he's not. He's actually been very inactive in the fight game. He's had 2 Bellator fights and 1 boxing match in the last 7 years. That's embarrassing by a guy who claims to be a real fighter because he has a jiu-jitsu background. I don't care about that, because jiu-jitsu's nothing. Like, jiu-jitsu's like a sport where it's got nothing to do with your hands. Like, in boxing, how is that going to translate? How the fuck is jiu-jitsu going to translate in boxing? KSI, you were such a hypocrite, because at least Tyron Woodley had a decent overhand right that could translate in boxing. Same with Anderson Silva, he had decent boxing skills and a decent overhand right to translate in boxing. Same with Mike Perry. He had a decent right hand to translate in boxing. No, decent, like, power to translate in boxing. With his hands. Not with jiu-jitsu, with his hands. Same with Woodley, same with Silva. And even Mike Tyson still had a bit of power in him to rock Jake at times. Yes, Mike Tyson at 58 still had a bit of power in him to rock Jake a few times in the first couple rounds. And even in some points in the last rounds where he was like catching him off guard. Like catching him when he didn't expect it. Literally. Every single one of Jake Paul's opponents are better than Dylan Dennis. Yes, even Ben Askren and Nate Robinson and even Gibb from 2020. They're better than Dylan Dennis. What has Dylan Dennis shown? What has he shown other than being a Twitter talker? He just talks shit online. He talks shit about Logan Paul's fiance, but didn't throw a punch in the actual fight. What does that say about him? He talks shit about Logan Paul's fiance, but didn't throw punches in the actual fight. That just shows that he's not about that life. He claims to be a real fighter, but doesn't even actively fight and is never proved it. But the only thing he's good at is jiu-jitsu, which does not translate in any way in boxing. At least striking translates in boxing because you're using your hands. But in MMA, jiu-jitsu, you're not using your hands at all really, just focusing on like taking your opponent down or choking them out. You're not focusing on just your hands. Like, you're not focusing on your hands as well, you're just focusing on those 2 things I just said. But literally, that's the only thing he's good at, and he's never even competed in UFC. He's never even competed in Bellator. He's never even competed, because he had 2 boxing matches in Bellator back in like 2018, 2019, and he's never even fought since. And he had 1 boxing match in 2023 when he fought Logan Paul, and he completely fumbled. He didn't even do anything in the fight, so I can't even count it really, because at least in the Bellator fights he did something. He actually tried to fight, like he actually threw his hands, but in the Logan Paul fight he didn't throw anything really, at all. For the entire like 20 minutes, whatever the fight, however long the fight was. But literally, I need to calm down. But literally, the guy's a Twitter talker. The guy's a Twitter talker. He's not a fighter. He's a Twitter talker. He's a keyboard warrior. You know that meme of the like Dylan Dennis holding a keyboard? That's what he is. That's exactly what he is. A keyboard warrior. I'm gonna end the video here, but KSI, you were an absolute hypocrite. Deji would beat Dylan Dennis. Because at least Deji actually throws punches somewhat. Even though he didn't throw punches against fucking the Wood Savage, but like still in his other fights. Ben Askren would beat Dylan Dennis because he actually throws punches and he actually has intent to win at times. No, I always has intent to win, even if he's completely ass. Nate Robertson actually had intent to win against Jake Paul and actually tried to win. He was going on the shield throwing punches and actually tried to beat Jake Paul, but he just couldn't, unfortunately. But he would actually beat Dennis. He'd actually beat Dylan Dennis because he'd actually beat Dylan Dennis because he actually throws punches. Whereas Dylan Dennis just stands there with his guard up doing nothing. Like this. Like a human punching bag. That's what he is. Body open like this. No defense. I mean, just does this the whole fight. Open for so many shots to the body, and it's just like he's gonna get knocked out. KSI's gonna knock him out. KSI's gonna knock him out, and it's gonna be pretty satisfying because I generally do not like Dylan Dennis at all. I can't stand him, but yeah. But I'm gonna end it here, guys. Hope you guys enjoy seeing this time. Peace out, because I'm absolutely gutted. Not gutted, but I'm not that invested in this whole like celebrity boxing, like influencer boxing, but it just kind of like. It's laughable because KSI talks shit about Jake Paul's opponents, but he's fighting a guy who's worse than every single one of them, in my opinion. Like, every single one of Jake Paul's opponents would actually beat Dylan Dennis. Yes, even a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. He would demolish him in minutes. Every single one of Jake Paul's opponents, actually, every single one from from Deji to Mike Tyson would beat Dylan Dennis in a fight. I would beat Dylan Dennis because I'd actually throw punches and actually have intent to win. Unlike him, who just show up and not throw punches and be a punching bag because he can't fight, he can't box, he can't fight. The only thing he's good at is talking shit. I don't care if he's I don't care if he was a jiu-jitsu world champion. That means nothing in boxing. Okay, I don't care if he's a jiu-jitsu world champion. That means nothing in boxing, first of all, and it's useless because. He's not proven that he's still that because he's never even actively fought in jiu-jitsu and he's never even actively fought in Bellator. Literally. But I'm gonna end it here, guys. I'm rabbiting for way too long. But yeah. Bye.